Welcome grade 4s to another science lesson. Today we will be looking at what questions scientists may ask. So if you turn your pages to page number 305, we will start to look at what questions are. Questions. Science includes questions or inquiry, or the process of asking questions and searching for answers. Scientists ask questions about what they observe in the natural world. Someone looks at something carefully and asks about it. For example, a scientist studying Earth might think of a number of questions to ask. How do islands form? What kinds of rocks are on Earth's surface? So we know by experimenting in other lessons that there are three types of rocks: igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. Scientists first study what other scientists have already learned about the answers to their questions. In the science, do experiments and make observations to find answers. They keep recording or records of their observations and experiments. Keeping records can help them share what they have learned. So if I look at the text features, complete the chart by explaining some of the features on this page. The heading. We know the heading on this page is questions. So we can say that the heading tells us that the paragraph is about questions. Let's take a look at these scientists. These scientists are studying a map, and they are sitting on rocks. So what type of question may they ask? So the picture may suggest the scientists are searching for So the picture might suggest that the scientists are searching for answers. I'll give you a second to write your answer down. Question number 2. What question do you think these scientists might ask, trying to answer? So what questions do you think that these scientists on these rocks might be able to ask or answer? So these scientists might ask a question like, what are under these rocks? They might even ask, another question that they might ask, so there's a lot of questions that they might ask. What are under these rocks? How old are these rocks? And what kind of rocks are these? We look at the next page, we will see that what is an investigation? Scientists do investigations to help them find answers to their questions. An investigation is a careful way of looking for something. Scientists use process skills in science investigations. You already use many of these skills in your daily life wherever you answer questions or solve problems. You will use them in a more organized way as you do science activities. So everything that you see and do, you investigate. When you observe, scientists often start when a person observes something. For example, someone could visit a cave and observe the shapes of the cave walls. The person may then wonder how these shapes formed. Observations are made with the sense and with tools. Observations lead to questions that start an investigation. However, scientists continue making observations throughout an investigation. So this means that you are looking at something, observing something, and then you might ask questions to yourself. How did this happen? How does this form? How did something like this exist, come to existence? For example, if I look at clouds, how do clouds get into the sky? How did the clouds reach up that height? How do the clouds form? And we do know this by observing. Now, the next thing is research. After scientists ask a question, they do research by studying reference materials. Reference materials include encyclopedias, books, magazines, or journals in the internet, and more. Scientists often write articles that appear in scientific journals. Other scientists read the articles. This helps scientists learn what others have already discovered. So basically what this means is that when I look at other references, other people's work, I can learn from them and then continue their investigations. When scientists use information from a reference material, they keep track of where the information came from. They write down the name of the book and the article and the name of the person who wrote it. It is important to refer or for others to be able to find reference materials in the scientific or scientists use. Question number 3. Underline the information you would need to write down about an article. So first of all, where the information comes from. They write down the name of the book, of the article, and the name of the person who wrote it. Number 4, apply. Look at the cave photos in this page. What research might you want to do before exploring the cave? So there's a lot of things that you need to do before exploring a cave, because caves can be dark and dangerous. So first of all, we need to ask, how deep is the cave? We can also ask, what safety equipment So first of all, we can ask how deep the cave is and what safety equipment I must take with. Secondly or thirdly, I can ask, are there animals living in the cave? This is because we are going in another habitat, and surely there might be animals living there. On the next page, page 307, we are looking at an experiment. So scientists use their observations and research to come up with possible answers to their questions. Then they design and run tests to try to confirm those answers. So these tests are called experiments. Scientists record the observation during the experiment. So what they find, they will record and put it on a piece of paper. The result of an experiment may match the earlier answers or provide a different answer. So it can either be the same or different. It depends on what you do. The result of these experiments are added to the early observations and research. Question number 5. What might be, or what might you ask about the rock on this page? What experiment might you do to answer this question? So first of all, we might ask, what is the hardness of this rock? How do we know how hard something is? We scratch it against another surface. So how do I test how hard this rock is? I would scratch the rock against other rocks. For example, if I take a diamond, which I know is the hardest material, I can try and scratch this rock to see how hard it is. Question number 6. What would you like to know about land features in your state? For example, if I look at Saudi Arabia, what kind of land features do we have? So we know that this is a desert. So over the years, the desert has definitely changed. When I was in the desert the other day, I found a fossil of a coral. This means that the land once was covered with water. So how the land features What would you like to know about the land features in your state or in your country? Write a question, how the land features changed over time. Why might some reference materials be better than others? This is simple. Scientists discover new things every single day. So one reference might be newer than another one. Why might scientists repeat experiments? This is simple. The results from one experiment might match or be different from previous experiments. So scientists might repeat experiments to check the results. So why would they do experiments? Repeat experiments? One experiment's results might be different from another one. So they have to do the experiments all over again. So boys, I hope you have learned something new and that you enjoyed this meeting. Bye.